Hello folks, and welcome to yet another trembling episode of the Audiophile Man. And what do I have for you this time around? We have a turntable. Been a while since I've done a turntable, so I thought I'd get stuck into this one from Audio-Technica called, and they do love their little catchy names, don't they? This one is called the AT-LPW50 BT-RW. It's snappy, it's cuddly, it's something you might call a puppy or a loved one. I don't know where Audio-Technica digs these up. Anyway, for brevity's sake, I'm going to call this the W50. Price-wise, well, I think we're looking in pounds anyway. We're looking at about £420, but I would recommend you shop around for this one. I have seen it available for an online UK retailer for £379. I don't have a dollar price as I'm speaking to you now, but I will put one below. So, my American friends, here it is. Now, I'll say this for the W50, it's a bit of a looker. You've got a box plinth with a rosewood finish, a simple control interface, and a carbon fibre tone arm. The isolation feet do move a little to settle on uneven surfaces, but really, place this turntable on a flat and level shelf for the best performance. Aesthetically, for a first impression, you can't really fault the W50. The turntable design is classic Audio-Technica. This is a design that attempts to please all of the people, all of the time, offering both audiophile and lifestyle facilities. So you get around the back, next to the power button, a built-in phono amplifier, and around the front, a very nice VM95E cartridge moving magnet that hangs off the arm via a detachable headshell. The platter is a simple aluminium die-cast model that holds so much vibration it rings like a bell. So take care to add a quality mat to dampen the thing. The company gives you a rubber example. You can do better than this. Cork is a basic upgrade recommendation, I would say. The plinth is sturdy, meaty and stiff, and because of that, I'm expecting decent bass performance from this one. Oh, and this is a 2-speed 4533 belt-driven turntable we're talking about here, folks. Back to that tone arm though, and the tube itself is pretty rigid. And while you're not going to get an amazing tone arm performance for this price point, you're not going to get high quality bearings, for example, that carbon fibre addition is welcome. Don't expect a true carbon fibre arm tube here. I reckon what we have is a piece of carbon fibre wrapped around an aluminium inner tube piece. So I think the carbon fibre is more of a skin. Just my guess. Even so, the extra rigidity that the carbon fibre will bring is very welcome indeed. One of the feature points of the W50 is Bluetooth. There is a pairing button and light positioned right on the tone arm base, and I'll talk more about that in the sound testing. Speaking of which, I began with Peggy Lee and the title track from Is That All There Is? Possibly the strangest, most disturbing and thoughtful song she ever sang. This one uses a piano, bank of strings, brass section, bass, acoustic guitar, and what appears to be a banjo, a rather discordant instrumental insert into a discordant song, pushed through Lee's disconnected vocal style. This is also a useful test track because Lee talks through parts of this song, so there is that speech thing to consider. First point of reference, I compared the W50 to another Audio-Technica turntable, the very well-known LP120X. And a fascinating comparison this was. In short, the LP120X offered the same suite of detail and information as the W50. The difference was the W50 lowered high-frequency noise, so the Lee vocal at the start of this song, well, she showed a stronger degree of reverb, more echo, you might say. Lee was standing in a lonely and empty space, which was perfect for this song. The acoustic guitar that hid on the left channel right behind the banjo was stronger in the mix. The effort on this slow, determined strum was more obvious now. bass 2 was better focused, tighter with a firmer impact, while cymbal taps were tonally more accurate. Over to Fluance now, and I compared the W50 with the RT81. The W50's firmer, more impactful bass did intrigue me, which was why I reached for the RT81, because that turntable does excel in bass terms. And I wondered how the W50 would cope. I then turned to Earth, Wind & Fire's Shining Star track from the album That's the Way of the World from 1975. As you might expect, you've got a host of voices here, single and harmonies, that very famous brass section, guitars, drums, and more. Now, before we get to that bass, I was immediately impressed with the mid-range insight and treble performance from the W50. There's a subtle yet particular insistent cymbal tapping right around the rear of the central stereo image here. It's there on the Fluance, but the W50, it gives you more. That is, the Fluance half masks some of those taps behind the general cacophony. The W50, though, pushes more of that secondary percussion towards the front of the mix. It reveals more information, more detail. The chorus vocal harmony sequence was fragile, delicate, lower again in noise with greater reverb again. The mid-range space here was impressive. Oh, and that bass, well, I preferred the W50, I have to say. Impacts hit faster and they got out of the way quicker, providing a more effective punch, helped by the focus around the lower frequencies. Finally, I tried the LP5X, also from Audio-Technica, which I consider the best all-rounder of the three reference turntables on offer here. Superior in both upper and lower frequencies to the 120X and the RT81, this would be a firm test for the W50. I kept Earth, Wind & Fire on the platter, as it were. And well, would you believe it, the W50 hit the ground running here with a wider and more impressive soundstage. The W50 had a more naturalistic and neutral presentation, more air and space around the mids. There was life, energy, and, well, dare I say it, joy. The presentation really did make you want to stand up and dance to this track. The LP5X did excel in terms of bass control and upper mid-range detail, but the W50 matched it and at times was superior in these areas. So what about the Bluetooth, the built-in Bluetooth feature? Well, during the test, I paired the turntable both with my Stax S3 wireless headphones, plus a portable Bluetooth speaker from the French outfit Cabas called the Swell. The only real issue I had with the Bluetooth option on this turntable was the rather sluggish connection. That is, the W50 took its own sweet time to actually connect. My suggestion? Well, put both your device and this turntable in pairing mode and go and do something else, like decorating the kitchen. Maybe grow an oak tree in the garden, wait for it to get to, I don't know, 15 feet high, and then maybe the W50 will make up its mind. Once Bluetooth here is actually connected, the signal is strong and solid. In terms of sound, well, for Bluetooth, it ain't bad. And that, folks, is pretty much the review of the W50 turntable from Audio-Technica. Let me give you a few final thoughts. I'll give you some pros and cons and a rating. Initially, well, I took one look at this turntable and suspected this might be a test of a turntable that was more about style than substance. But well, I couldn't have been more wrong. That wooden box plinth provided weight to the bass. The cartridge is solid and a recommended design, and I think this turntable wins out purely because of that tone arm. The rigid straight tube, further enhanced by the carbon fibre coating, which only adds to the rigidity and the strength. For the price of this turntable, this is a surprisingly good quality design. Now and again, around the £300 to £500 price point, Audio-Technica'S turntables kind of surprise me. They did that when they initially released the X version of the 120. They did that when they released the X version of the LP5. Well, they've done it again with the W version of the 50, the W50. This, my friends, is one of their best yet. Pros and cons. And in the good section, the mid-range. Very spacious. That's down to the low noise, I think. And for a similar reason, that's why the treble is so detailed, I reckon. Bass, well, it's not particularly heavy, it's not particularly massy, but it does offer a really tight, focused punch. And finally, the price. This offers good value for what you get. And in the bad section, well, that Bluetooth connection is rather sluggish. When it's up and running, though, it's fine. And that's why I am still going to give this turntable an award-winning rating. I'm going to give it 8 and a groovy congratulations to Audio-Technica. And that's a lot, folks. Before you go downstairs, can you click on the like and subscribe buttons, please? Just helps this channel to grow, which is oh so important. In addition to that, further down, I'll put a link to Audio-Technica and this very turntable. My links are amongst that lot as well down below in the description, including a link to my Facebook group, which you're welcome to join, my Patreon page, which has a regular, exclusive hi-fi news, etc. video every single week, and there is one out right now, folks. Brand new, hot off the press, you might say. Also, my website, don't forget that, all kinds of stuff over there you will not see over here. I'll be back. When will I be back? Friday with a new music alerts video. Lots of CDs, lots of vinyl. Hope to have your attention then. Until then, folks, bye-bye for now.